you go about social media is very interesting. It's unique, it's original, and it's not recycled material. And in the midst of everything that you do, your central focus somehow stays on athletes, like your team, which is, that could be difficult to let that still be the focus when you have all this chaos going on. But you're somebody who stays to the roots, and it is all about the athletes. So how do you stay away from, I don't even think you necessarily sell anything on your platforms in terms of promotion. It's all about the athletes.
Yes. And then it's also about coaching coaches to have better relationships with athletes and to create a sport where practice is the best part of their day. And as you know, so many coaches almost think that's like soft, like if we're not trying to design practices for enjoyment. We're trying to win games. We're trying to work hard and all that kind of BS. And they fail to realize that when kids fall in love with a sport, they get better. And I think love is tough. I mean, there's skinny old ladies that will fight like hell for their kids. Love is tough. And if you don't like something, you won't fight for it. I don't care how many hard things your coach puts you through. They could put you through the meat grinder every day, and you're still not going to be tough if you don't like the sport, don't love what you're doing. So I think that's important. And so, maybe the favorite thing I do is when I get to go, like last week, I went to Vegas to do 5 presentations. Strangely, the Glacier clinics pay so poorly. I had to do 5 presentations to cover my airfare. I mean, literally, I got a room and I got to speak to 500 football coaches 5 times, which I love. And I love, like sharing things that will help them create better opportunities for their kids. It's probably the favorite thing I do. But as you know, I'm going to have a hard time walking away from track and field.
I was just going to ask. I mean, it's kind of, it's funny. I joke with my brother all the time. It's like, well, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. But you're going to roll into track practice in a wheelchair. I truly believe that, because you can't get away from it.
This is a problem, like I have a friend that's the beat writer for the Broncos, and he said that the saddest people in the world are retired professional athletes.
Yep.
Your window of playing is so, I mean, it seems like forever when you're doing it, but these guys that are washed up when they're 28. I mean, my God, what do they do now?
Right.
So that's really hard. And so it's really hard. Obviously, a lot of my identity has been wrapped up with my coaching. And so, my wife kids me that when I put on my hat, I'm Coach Holler. And I'm like a different person, when I got my hat on, and I'm coaching kids. And, as our kids are really good kids, and they inspire us to be better coaches, which, imagine being a coach who hates their kids.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them out there, it's like, I can't do this. I just don't know how I can walk away from it very easily. Maybe I can replace it with something, I don't know. I'm lucky that I'm well-rounded in terms of, I love reading, and I love writing, and who knows, maybe my Feed the Cats business that was so unintentional that it's hard to believe that in my 5 years since I've retired, I'm making more on Feed the Cats than I ever did as a teacher.
Well deserved.
I don't know. I can't describe my business. It's like consulting, coaching coaches, athletes, writing, photography. I don't know what it is really, but it's maybe my business will continue and will keep me busy. I know my good friend Steve Jones, arguably the best high school coach of all times. He won 92% of his games, and then he wrote a book and retired from coaching when he was young, like 40. And I was like, how are you going to do this? He said, well, I love being a speaker, and put out a good book, and I'll be damned if he's not on the Packers sideline every game now. I hear they're going to offer him something big.
Nice.
And, but yeah, he's good friends with LaFleur. So, I think talented, passionate people that are well-read move on better than other people. I hope so. But I'm also know enough. When I was asked just last Monday night, said, what do you love about what you're doing? And my answer is everything. I mean, I love the write-ups, the pictures, the T-shirts I order, designing the medals for our Fresh Soft City meet. I love going to practice 20 minutes early and get to talk to kids, seeing you, seeing Andy, having those ups and downs, the struggles and the happiness, and, thinking, man, we could be conference champs this year. Like, we're pretty damn good, we could, every time we set a record, I'm like amazed, like, we just set a school record, and it's not fake at all. I mean, I've had teams break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 state records in my career. 5 state records have been broken by my teams. And you would think that I'm immune to a freshman vaulter who we think maybe go 10 foot indoors this year, breaking our indoor freshman vault record. I'm so excited about that kid. And so that stuff I don't think can be faked. And so literally all the things, even the hard things, even the roster and the, God forbid, the fundraiser. There is one thing I hate, and that's pictures. I do hate. It's coming up. I hate pictures. I hate them more than fundraising, and I kind of hate that too. But I see it as all part of the struggle to lay down this historic year. It may be historically great or historically good or historically bad. We have no idea, but it will be historic. We're going to keep track of things, and I say that coaching is kind of like Sisyphus. Do you know who Sisyphus was?
The philosopher?
No, he was actually Greek mythology.
Okay.
Sisyphus was sentenced to a lifetime of rolling a rock up a hill in hell. And I tell coaches that that's kind of what we do as coaches. We kind of roll a rock up a hill, and most of us never get to the top. And if we ever do, let's make sure we have somebody take a picture of us, because they ain't going to stay there. That rock's going to roll back down, and you're going to start rolling it back up. I was coming home from one of my state championships, and I was on top of the world, obviously. And before we were out of Charleston, I was working on next year's lineup and wondering whether or not we could score enough points to do this again. So literally a half an hour after we departed O'Brien Stadium, the blue oval and all that kind of stuff, I was already rolling the rock. And here's the deal. It's kind of psychotic, but people that are good at what they do learn to love to roll the rock, to do the work, to find that it stirs their blood and gets them excited and all those things. Like I've talked to you about your career plans. You could do anything.
Right.
But I would love to see you do something that stirred your blood, that kept you excited and like maybe the first thing you think about when you wake up and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's a better life that way.